Hey, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's Don't Worry Wednesday.
Hi,
Mm-hmm.
welcome.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Answer me. Mm-hmm. There it is. Hey.
that's the answer for you. I don't know what that kind of answer was, but it was like a one eyebrow going up.
It was an interesting thing, that's for sure. It reminds me of a billboard. There's this billboard I see all the time where there's this baby, and the baby's making this face where it's like, it's like some kind of it's like a baby face, but somehow this baby had the one eyebrow raised,
Okay.
you know? And it says, Are you sure I'm in the right car seat?"
No, you're on a billboard.
You're not in a
No,
car seat at all.
you don't need a car seat for a billboard. There is no right car seat for a billboard. Come down from there. That's too
Yes.
high up,
Do you
and
think
you're
you're in the
far too
wrong car
large.
seat? Welcome, everybody. It's Don't Worry Wednesday. Welcome. Hey, Pear, we haven't seen you in a while. Welcome,
Hey,
Marissa. Welcome, Meow Lado. Welcome,
uh,
Box.
yeah, I don't know how to say that. How do you pronounce your name? Just go by meow,
Meow.
meow. Um, yeah, Bryson G.
Yeah.
Star Oza 2000. Hey, we got a lot of people with us. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Melody
Welcome, everybody.
Smiles. Hey, fantastic.
Yeah.
Meowworks.
Yep.
Cool.
So you guys are awesome. Anyway, and this show is awesome.
That's
Mainly
right.
because you guys are here,
Right.
because we got awesome people in the chat. But this is Don't Worry Wednesday. This is a show where we talk about any issues, challenges, or things that you might be going through, any problems that you're facing in your life right now. We just invite you to, let us know what's going on. We'd be happy to talk about it, offer some friendship, some love, some encouragement, anything that might help you along the journey. We're not professional therapists or counselors or anything of that nature. We just want to be your friend, and we want to love you. We want to help you in any way we can, maybe offer a little bit of perspective, because sometimes just having an outside look at an issue can make all the difference in the world, along with, having somebody listen to you without judgment. And we try to do that. We've got some spectacular people in the chat that do the same thing. It's just outstanding, because in this world of crazy people, somehow the people that come and join us in this chat, are really nice and loving and caring and non-judgmental about anything. It's just outstanding. And yeah, we're thankful for that. Ryan and I, especially, because we're both Catholic, and so we're one of the most judged members of
Oh,
society. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for being here. And I don't know how you guys doing this Wednesday. Ryan, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a great day to be alive. Um, you know, the world is crazy. Let's not get that wrong. The world is crazy.
It's nuts. It's
Yeah,
nuts out
especially the
there.
United States of America right now.
Oh
We're
my gosh.
nuts over here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great day to be alive anyways. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so anyways, I'm doing great. How you doing, Joe?
I'm fantastic. I got to give a shout out to Princess. She is our chat room hostess, and
That's
she's
right.
also our topic coordinator and keep us on tracker and everything. Like, man,
Topic
it's
coordinator.
it's
That's
interesting because it's almost like every week Princess takes a new aspect of what she does for this show, and like kind of takes over a new part of it and makes it better.
oh, what'd you do this week?
Good question. Maybe this week was her week off.
Nah,
I don't know,
that's
but
all.
it's great because we talk before and after this show, and
Mm-hmm.
so Ryan and I get some real time feedback about stuff, and it's really cool, and we discuss how we can make this show better, and her contributions are always so important,
Yeah.
because she has a different heart, and she's in the chat with you guys watching what's going on, and Ryan and I don't always catch it all. So it's really helpful to have her with us. So I just got to give a shout out and give Princess.
Yeah. Princess is awesome.
Mhm.
We're so blessed to have her with us, for sure. Meow says that they made their account just before they got on. This is their first internet thing. Well, I am honored that you'd spend your first internet thing with us. Like, that's
Wow.
awesome. I'm excited. That's cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. Like, I don't even know what to say to that except for exactly what Ryan says. That's
Yeah.
very, very
That's why I said
a
it.
huge
Duh.
honor. That's why you said it.
That's why I said it. It's the only thing that can be said, dude.
Duh.
Heck, I don't even know. But yeah, is someone sick in the chat? Sorry, is it Icy Phoenix or man?
Ugh,
Being sick, not fun.
no, no. And you drew your picture.
Oh, you drew your picture? That's awesome.
Sweet.
You know what I like about your picture? Right away, you can tell what it is.
Mm.
Like, and I have this. The image is like this big. The
Oh,
little
yeah, it's
circle is
tiny.
like that big on my
I
thing.
can't tell what it is, but I'm old,
You're not old.
and you have glasses.
Yeah, I do.
You have glasses. I don't have glasses, but I think I need them.
Hey, one day maybe you'll get old enough to wear your own pair of glasses.
Yeah, I just got a year older the other day.
You did?
I did.
What day was that?
The other one.
Nice. Well, happy birthday, Joe.
Thanks.
Would you like me to sing you a happy birthday song?
That's
Okay.
Unless you're gonna do it like at the Texas Roadhouse restaurant where they throw in the yeehaws and the stuff.
Happy birthday, yo!
Actually, you
happy
know what?
birthday, you
Interestingly enough,
happy birthday, hee-haw!
before everything got quarantined, we used to go to this restaurant, Texas Roadhouse, a bunch of times. For a bunch of my family members, they love it, right? They love going to this place, and the steaks are really good and everything. And so we go there, and then they don't even sing. They just say, "Attention, everyone! Blah 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 blah. So and so's birthday. Let's get everybody a yeehaw!" And then everybody goes yeehaw, and then that's it.
Oh, okay.
They don't even
Nice.
walk out clapping with a little cake made of whipped cream.
Well, that's a good way to do it.
Yeah,
Short and quick.
it is. Yep. It's less embarrassing for the person. So, like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly why it's good. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what do you say we get into it today, huh?
I think that's a great idea. So we have some topics, and we've got some folks. It looks like. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through our list of topics, and if you hear your name, feel free to let us know. Oh, I forgot to say, if you have a topic that you'd like us to talk about, you can feel free to drop it in the chat. You can put it on our website. Princess posted the link up there somewhere. It was a ways up there. You guys have been chatting. Yeah, so there's a link. Maybe she'll post it again at some point. Or if you want to remain anonymous, you can send us an email, dww@bss.studio, and just mention in your in your email that you'd like to remain anonymous, and we'd be happy to do your topic anonymously. But yep, there's the link right there. If you can drop it in the chat. You can click that link and start a new topic there on our website. And yeah, we'll talk about it. So it'll be awesome. But anyway, all right, I'm going to go through the list of our current topics, and we'll see who's here. So if you hear your name, throw one of these dabs in the chat there, because everybody loves to dab, even though it's way out of style by now. It's so like 3 years ago. Do you remember when everybody was dabbing?
Yeah.
I remember when everybody was dabbing. In my kids'
Everyone but
martial
me.
arts classes, they were all dabbing. And then
Yeah.
when I started doing it, they all stopped.
They realized they could never be as cool as you, so they're like, let's give up on it.
No, they were
Let's
like,
try to be
this
cool at
old
something
guy,
else."
this dad guy, he's doing it now. So like, it must not be cool anymore. We have to stop.
That's a good way to get people to stop doing things.
You know what? It's interesting. As soon as I started doing the floss, everybody stopped.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you,
One
Joe.
thing annoys you out there, I'll start doing it, then everybody will stop.
I appreciate it. I'll let you know next time something's annoying, some kind of weird thing. I'll let you know so you can get them all to stop by doing it.
All right, all right. I'll do that just for you. But all right. So here's the list. Sevlev, SK, Awkward, Pika, Jesse, Khan Vulcan, Amira, Random, Cat Jat, Ian Lamb, Vanna V, and Baka. And if you heard your name, let us know, and we'd be happy to do your topic. I think I saw Baka here earlier. There it is, right there. So yeah, Icy says I used to do martial arts, and then my dad started complaining, and I didn't want to hear it anymore, so I quit. Okay. Ugh. See, the thing is your dad, he should have done it with you. That's what I started doing with my kids. Now they both have their black belts. They got their black belts before I did. I finally got mine, dragging up the rear here, and yeah, but it was a pretty cool experience. But hey, I understand. it's a little bit tough on parents because it's a big commitment, time wise, money wise, everything. Like there's a lot. But I think for my kids it was worth it, and yeah, I was happy. But anyway, all right. So we've got Baka's. Let's do that. What do you think?
Sounds great.
All right, let's do it. And let me get my place. Oh, there it is. There's the link. And yes, looks legit. I'm gonna post it just because.
It looks like a legitimate link.
looks legit.
What is it? Click to find out. Great.
Oh yes, that's perfect. But all right, so there it is. You can click
this
that
link, and then this happened.
What? And Princess, anytime you're ready, you can feel free to read it for us.
Sounds good. Setting a goal was always told to be an achievement, but I have set so many goals. It just seems like all these goals I have set to achieve are just one mindset away. One of the goals was to lose weight, but that was put on hold due to failing my goal to do better in school. But I have so many goals. I sometimes feel like giving up, but I want to succeed. The past week I've had so much work to do, but I get nothing done. I end up falling asleep at 5 p.m. I know that I'm strong enough to achieve all my goals, but this reoccurring thought to just give up clouds my mind. How do I clear my mind and get to work on my goals? From Baka.
That is a great question. I understand having a lot of different goals. I understand having, a lot of different things to chase after and not feeling like you're getting anywhere. And I understand. And then, you're focused and running after one, and then all of a sudden something else pops up and it's a little bit more urgent. And so now you got to shift focus and go to that other one, and and then this other one kind of falls off the table, and so then you got to go back and rejuvenate that one again. And it can feel like a juggling match at times, and it can be kind of tough. So I definitely feel your pain on this one, Baka, and I'm gonna hand it over to Ryan and see what he has to say, because I can't wait. So Ryan,
I'm gonna make you wait. No,
that's fine. I don't mind silence. You've taught me to embrace the awkward, so
you told me that you couldn't wait, so you're right. You can.
You're right. I can't.
And you will.
Okay. Show me.
But not very long, because this is Baka Breaker's time, and I don't want to waste his time.
Be like, wait a second.
So, yeah, I love you, Joe. You're awesome. So, one of the things that immediately comes to my mind is this. You have all of these goals, right? And it can be really hard to get any goal done, much less like 20 of them, right? I know what it's like to be in that boat. So I have a simple solution for you. I have a very simple solution for you that'll help you get your goals. Okay. Take all of the goals that you have right now. Okay. And don't worry about them. Throw them out the window. I want you to create. Okay, don't throw them out the window because they might be fragile, and then they'll break, and that's not good. That's not how you treat goals. I mean, come on. No. I want you to make a goal for yourself right now. You're working to lose weight, right? That was one of your goals. Don't have a goal to lose weight. Have a goal each day to do something that is losing weight. And what I mean by that is this. Set a goal to do like a certain amount of push-ups or squats every day. What I do it at night, just before I go to bed, because I know I always have time just before I go to sleep to do mine. Joe does them in the morning. He wakes up early so he can get his exercising done so that he can have that time and make it work, right? So if you have a spot in your day where you know, okay, I will have this time. So my goal today and every day for this entire week is to do this. Now, if it's an exercise, you kind of want to go back and forth between different workouts every day, or else you're just going to hurt yourself. But like do your arms one day and then do your legs the other. But Joe has great information on doing exercises to lose weight. You know, you want to kind of work your cardio. You want to get out of breath and that kind of stuff. But instead of setting a goal to lose weight, set a goal to do an exercise every day. Or set a goal to eat a certain way, okay? So that every single day when you do it, you feel accomplished. You feel like, I just did my goal. I did my goal today. And it clears your mind out because you're no longer bogged down by all the things you didn't do or about all the things in the future you have to work towards. Instead, you can be satisfied with yourself. And that gives you more steam for the next day. So when you hurt your back, that's going to make it hard. And plus, if you're sick, exercising's tough. So I'm not going to recommend that right now. But my point is to set a goal that isn't like far out there, like I want to do this someday, or I want to be that, or I want to get in shape, or all that kind of stuff. Don't set a goal like that. Instead, try to set a goal that would work you towards it so that every day you can do that goal and you can meet it and you can feel good, right? Because if I set a goal to be like, I want to write 14 songs this month, that's crazy. I've written 9 songs in 2 days before, but anyways, if I set a goal for a certain amount of songs or whatever, I'm not going to make it happen. But if I have a goal to open up my project and work on my song, I know I can do that. And so doing that every day actually gets me to my same end goal, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. It doesn't require me to try to find new ways or new time, etc. It's something that's just scheduled and it makes sense. So it's easy to accomplish. And when I do, it feels great, right? So that's my main thing for you, is to set goals that are an activity that you can do every day. And so that when you complete that activity, boom, goal accomplished. And that is what's going to train your habits and things like that to building a better you, right? Because if you go like, oh, I want to be like this person, well, you have to start somewhere and you have to do something to get there. And if you haven't figured out what to do, it becomes all too big and convoluted. It can be hard to figure out where to start, what to do. But if you just say, my activity is my goal, and I'm going to do it every single week, makes a huge difference. So that's my main first thing. And another thing you asked is, how do I clear my mind to get to work on my goals? I think my suggestion really solves that problem, because you don't have to clear your mind and figure out the next step. You've already set yourself up for it. Especially when it comes to like weight loss or getting in shape, because then you know it's eating habits and it's exercising habits, right? And so those two things. So it's a little bit more simple for that. But if it's something like, I want to, did you have any other goals listed in here?
There was one of doing better in school.
Doing better in school, right? So doing better in school, you know, how do you do that? Well, you've got homework. And if you're getting that done, you're doing better than I did. If you're getting your homework done, right, that's an activity that you can do. And if you get it done, goal complete, right? But if it's like for studying, you know, that's beyond homework, like trying to understand, you know, again, you just set yourself a goal. It's like, I'm going to study for 15 minutes. And then I complete that 15-minute session, I'm going to be done. Because here's the thing, I'm not a person that studies, but I know that if you try to study, like if you overexert yourself in studying, you start to retain less and less and less until it comes to a point where you're just going to forget it the next day anyways, or in 2 days, right? You're going to forget it right as you finish doing the test. You know, most people, if you cram. So I would say, don't cram. Set 15, maybe 2 15-minute segments of your day for homework, or sorry, for studying, if you're a studying kind of person. I say don't really put too much more into it than that, because now I listen to what other people say on this, but from my experiences, my brain doesn't work very well after that point. If I've studied something for 15 minutes and I'm not like really compelled and interested, my brain is just looking over the words without even comprehending them at some point. And I'm like, wait, I did not read that. I read it, but I did not read that. I'm going to do that again. And then I do it like 4 times, you know, it's terrible. So that's what I'm going to start off with. Joe, I'm going to give it over to you. See what you've got to say about this.
You know, I love what you're talking about, because we all have goals for achieving different things, right? And a lot of times we get kind of caught up in the achievement of the thing. But I read this quote, and I don't remember who said it. I don't remember where I found it actually, but to live your dreams is to work constantly in that arena. Achievement is temporary and therefore overrated. But to live your dream is to just be doing it constantly. And so I love what Ryan was talking about, because he's set up a recipe for, if you're going to achieve these things, if you're going to be in better shape, you know, there are consistent things you do daily to make a lifestyle, right? And so it's not that you achieve the goal of having lost weight or having been in better shape. It's that you live that way. And then your body, your health, all that, it reflects your lifestyle. So the idea is to create those little habits that you can do every day. And that's why it's, you know, when we can look at our goals and we can just get overwhelmed by things, and it just be like, oh my gosh, you know, that's such a big deal. And you can look at, you know, so I've been in situations in my life where I've been in massive amounts of debt, and it's like, you know, I need to pay that off, and it just looks like a ridiculous mountain that I could never climb. But I know the recipe to get out. You know, set up $1,000 emergency fund, you know, and then, you know, start attacking, you know, incrementally here and there, you know, just throw what you can, you know, at the smallest one first, and then roll in. It's Dave Ramsey's baby steps, basically, is, you know, what it kind of comes down to. But there are recipes for success in everything. But whatever it is that you're going to be doing, it's a lifestyle. It's not the goal itself. It's the things that you do daily that move you in the direction of achieving that. And what happens is the goal becomes just a milestone on your way to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So Ryan might have a goal to write a song. but he might not finish a song today. But you know what? He's going to open up a file in his computer and he's going to work on one. And, you know, when that process of doing it daily, it won't be long before he has a song done. And then some days he might write 4. You know, or in what you said, 2 days, you wrote 9 songs in 2 days.
Yeah, there was a time. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. I remember there's a guy, an author that I've mentioned on here before, Mark Joyner. He wrote a book in a day.
Dang.
And it wasn't just like a 5-page pamphlet book. It was like 100 and
Right.
some page, you know, like book. And he wrote it in a day. And he gave the recipe for doing that. And he said, I don't think I would recommend it.
Right.
You know, because he didn't talk. He's like, there was a lot of preparation that went into that. There was a lot of outlines created and a lot of pre-thought and a lot of planning and everything like that. But then the actual writing of the book, he went to a coffee shop and he mentioned to the waitress at this coffee shop. He was like, okay, here's $20 for your tip to start. I'm going to be here all day.
That's awesome. I like it already. That's so cool.
And, you know, basically just keep an eye on my coffee. You know, it's just, I'm going to have it refilled. And, you know, and then when I go to the bathroom, make sure nobody steals my computer. Right. And so
I love that.
yeah. And this is not your whole tip. This is just for now, but I'm going to be here for like, you know, all day. So, you know,
And keep a tab on my coffee because I don't remember how many I drink.
right. Yes. Yeah. Make sure that this is worthwhile for all of us. I'm not just going to sit here and buy 1 cup of coffee with free refills. Like,
Yeah. And every time I want a new flavor.
But yeah, at any rate, but those are big things that, you know, like they seem almost insurmountable. But you know what? He didn't start there. He didn't start writing a book in a day. Ryan didn't start writing 9 songs in 2 days. I have a really solid reading regimen every morning. I read for like probably close to 45 minutes every morning. But it didn't start that way. It started with less than 1 minute. Started with like a half a page, and the pages were little. I have a book that's like this big. Half of a page of that, right? So like, it took like 20 seconds to read it. That's where I started with my daily reading habit. But I knew that as I developed this habit, I would be able to expand it over time. But that's, you know, the whole idea is to just start something that you will be able to do consistently. Any of these goals, you want to do better in school. It's going to take habit. You want to be healthier. You want to lose weight. All these kinds of different things. These things aren't done in a single day, and they're not done with a huge exertion of crazy effort. No. It's small amounts of effort every day, consistently. And so you don't have to really worry about the goal so much as the habit and the lifestyle. That's the thing to focus on. And that's why I love what Ryan was saying. He's like, you know, make it small enough so you can achieve it and you can check it off your list. I recommend, I've gone fully now to using an app called TickTick. I know I've mentioned it before on this stream, but it's a great app for keeping track of your thoughts and keeping track of, you know, what you want to accomplish in your goals and your tasks for the day and everything. And I just have, you know, stuff that recurs daily. So as soon as I check it off that day, it knows that I'm going to do it again the next day. I have stuff that recurs weekly, you know, and I have it set up to come back every week. And, you know, I basically just have my lists Some of them it's automated. Some of it's just things I think of throughout the day, and I just drop it in there. And then every morning I look at that stuff. I look at all those things I put in there, and I pick the ones that I'm going to do that day and do them. And you can put things in there, like things that you want to develop habits. If you want to develop the habit of being in better shape, I love what Ryan was saying. Do 10 squats, or do 10 push-ups, or do 10 sit-ups, or, whatever. Run in place. But the idea is get started, and get started in a way that you can do it every day. Because, anything, if we just go crazy, that's why so many people have New Year's resolutions that fail. And it's because they look at their life and they're like, I'm going to change everything. So I need to go to the gym like for 2 hours every day. And so they go to the gym on January 2nd, because January 1st is New Year's Day, and that's the day they're, sleeping in. But January 2nd, they go to the gym and they're there for, they work out crazy. And then the next day they hurt like it's mad
Crazy.
Bananas, right? And so
Like mad bananas? Man, I heard like mad bananas.
like mad bananas. But, I got to tell you, they won't last. And it's because they took off too big of a chunk. Eventually, they're just going to be like, this is too hard. I can't do this, and they're just going to be like, nope, I'm going to skip a day. I'm just going to take one day off. And then that one day turns into a week. And that week turns into 2 weeks. And then before they know it, it's New Year's Eve again. And they're like, I'm going to do it this year. And, hopefully they learned something to say, okay, let's make this smaller. Because that's where success is. I heard also Jim Rohn, he's a business philosopher. He said one time, the point of having a goal is not the goal. That's not the reason for you having a goal. The reason you have a goal is so that you can become the kind of person that chases after goals. And that type of a person is a person who goes consistently toward that goal. On a day-to-day basis. One more example, and I'm turning it back over to Ryan. I decided, you know what? I didn't have a goal to write more music. I just knew that I needed to write some songs. And so what I did was I said, all right, I'm just going to play my guitar for 30 minutes every day. I mean, I did that when I was a kid. In band, I had practice reports, where I had to practice for a half an hour every day. And it was a piece of cake, really. I'd go for longer most days. But in this instance, I knew I was busy. I had a lot of stuff to do. And so I was like, I've got 30 minutes to carve out, to play my guitar. And so I'd pick up my guitar, I'd set a timer for 30 minutes, and I'd play for 30 minutes. And then when the timer went off, I would stop. I wouldn't allow myself to go any longer. Partly because I had lots of other stuff that I had to do, but partly because it was the whole, when you have a limited amount of time, you get yourself into it faster, if that makes sense. Like when after a few days of doing 30 minutes and stopping at the 30-minute mark, my subconscious mind started getting, okay, I don't have time to screw around here. If I'm going to accomplish anything in this time, I better get into it quickly. And so, so then I started getting into it. And then it was amazing because over the course of a month, I think I'd written 6 or 7 new songs. It just automatically came out of that. Of just doing it for 30 minutes. But anyway, so yeah, I like what Ryan says, throw your goals out the window. Not necessarily throw your goals out the window, but focus less on the goal and focus more on the things that are going to get you to that goal. And then make those things digestible so they can be they can be turned into a habit. And then those habits, before you know it, you're going to be at the one goal, and then you're going to be on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and you're on this upward rise. Sometimes you get thrown off track. You get sick, like you just dealt with. I remember seeing in the chat you were sick. And the beautiful thing about this, when there's small daily habits like that, it's easy to just say, oh, I can start this again tomorrow. Piece of cake. You have a day where you just get thrown off and you go to bed really early,
I've done that.
Yep. The next day is a new beginning. It's a new beginning. And you start over. And you can just and it's not starting over. You're picking up where you left off, so it's not as rash, right? But you can always start again when it's something small like that. So anyway, Ryan, I'm gonna turn it back to you.
Awesome. Yeah. So one other thing that I'll say is this. So I would get out a piece of paper, and not right now, but when you have time, get out a piece of paper and write desires, and list your desires, what you used to call goals. Okay. What you were calling goals. Like, my desire is to be fit. My desire is to have good grades in school, right? My desire is to be really good at plumbing, whatever it is. And write your desires out, okay? And then right next to them, make another section called goals, all right? And under goals, write down the one thing you can do a day that makes it easy, that's simple, it's not too strenuous, doesn't take up too much time, or else you won't be able to get to much. So then write down your goals, what your goal for that day is, what your goal for every day is going to be for the next week, in order to learn and to get practice. It might be researching, it might be fiddling around with pipes and welding something. It might be, all sorts of different things, but it's through the practice that we get to achieve our desires. So I would replace the word goals with desires, and then create a new section that's goals, and make those the activities that you're going to be doing. So when you complete that on the day, you'll be like, sweet, I achieved my goal. The second thing I'm going to say is this. If you have desires, well, okay, I'm going to start that over. Most people have goals that are really big, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, one day I want to be a millionaire, I want to be famous, or whatever, right? If those goals don't tug at your heartstrings enough to make you do something about it, then either A, you're never going to achieve that goal. Well, okay, that's A through Z. You are never going to achieve that goal. If the idea doesn't tug at your heartstrings enough to make you work at it, then that goal, or that dream that you have, or that desire itself isn't strong enough. But you can do something about that. If the desire, if the dream doesn't compel you to work at it and want to work at it every day, right? Then you need to daydream. You need to daydream more. Spend some time reflecting on the idea. Live it out in your head. One day I'm going to be whatever it is. I'm going to own a big house. Close your eyes and take a step into that house. Mm-hmm. Define, how's the floor? What color is it? Is it made of marble? Is it made of wood? Is it all carpeted? Next to it, is there a waterfall coming down from your entryway, your huge, massive entryway? There's just a waterfall coming down, and you're like, yeah, it's amazing. And it's dyed pink, and you have lights everywhere. So it looks like in the waterfall, it's water, but it's also got like some stuff in it. So it looks like a wall of slime coming down. It's like, that's my dream house. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever it is, whatever you are into, you walk into your house and you walk around it. And you make up with just the floor light up underneath you whenever you step on a panel. Does Do lights turn on as you enter the room so you don't have to flick a switch? You define it, right? You live that out in your head. You spend some time doing that. That's called daydreaming. And that's how you get your mind pumped up to start working towards your goals. If it's not like a big house, right? Maybe it's just something like, I want to be in shape. Imagine yourself in shape. Look at yourself in shape. And think about things that you can do while you're in shape that you can't do very well right now. You know, maybe you want to do parkour. You know, if it fires you up inside, good. But here's the thing. Most of the time, your dreams, that emotion that wells up inside of you, it's temporary. It's fickle. Emotions are a fickle thing. They come and they go. They're quick, right? You could be angry one moment and joyful the next. The thing is, we can't rely on emotions, but we can use them. So don't rely on your emotions. If you're feeling excited about working hard, and man, right now I could just, oh yeah, I'm going to do 15 push-ups right now because I feel into it. The problem is, well, first of all, that's awesome. If you're feeling fired up for it, use that motivation right now and use that momentum you've already got and start doing the push-ups, right? I'm super excited about it. Okay, do it then. But that's not always going to be there, you know? So that's why you take little steps, right? Because you have your goals of just doing one thing a day. And even if you don't feel like doing it, you do it because it's not a big deal. It takes like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever it is. And then it's just like, hey, I feel awesome that I did it. Now I can go to bed easy at night. Now I don't have to think about all that stuff, you know? But yeah, so if you have dreams, you know, those are a good thing. And if you're emotional about them, that's a good thing. But most of the time, you're not going to be. So don't rely on that. But you should do some dream building. You should do some daydreaming because your desires can also change. And if you want to make sure your desires are on point, your desires are for the best version of yourself, then you better daydream about the best version of yourself, because soon enough, just like your emotions, your desires might change, and they might change to a bad thing, right? Like today I desire being eating a bag of Doritos, sitting watching TV, you know, and that's your desire. It's true. It is. That's your desire. You want to just sit, relax and watch the tube. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not evil. But if you spent more time daydreaming about a healthy lifestyle, that desire wouldn't be so strong that it'd compel you to actually sit down on the chair and watch television and eat a bag of Doritos. You would feel the desire and you'd be like, yeah, but I've got all these other desires that are way better than that. So no thanks. And you'll walk away from it. So spend time as the last bit of advice I've got, spend time daydreaming about your desire so that it can fortify your soul and your brain against other desires that aren't healthy for you. Anyways, that's what I got. Back to you, Joe.
I love what you were talking about, and I always do better when I do what Ryan was just talking about, and that's daydream. Spend a little bit of time visualizing. You know, what am I actually doing? All these things, you know, I've got all these things that I have planned to do. I got all these tasks that I've got to do. You know, I'm working on this project and that project, and it's like, what the heck am I doing all that for? Because sometimes we can get caught up in it. Once you get down the road a little ways and you get into this lifestyle of doing these things, you know, it can get hard. And so you got to remind yourself of why.
Yeah.
But I never would have started any of these habits if I didn't have that why to begin with. If I didn't have that dream, that goal. And so, you know, so I commend you, Baka, for having goals to do better in school, to be in better shape. You know, all these things are wonderful. And the question is, why? And I think, you know, like from what Ryan was talking about, you know, to be the best version of yourself, that's a really big thing. That's a really awesome thing. And if that's all it is, like that can, man, that can be a great motivator for anything, because I'm always looking to be at my best, right? But sometimes that doesn't do it. And that's why it's so important to, pay attention to yourself as you're visualizing stuff. Pay attention to how you're feeling. Are you getting excited about it, or is it just kind of blah, blah, blah? And then if it's just kind of blah, you might need to find something else to visualize, or find a different thing. Because, and here's the thing, as long as something isn't evil, then you can probably visualize it and be just fine, because it's not going to take you down a path of evil, right? So, but as long as something, you're not necessarily looking for the thing, you're looking for the motivation that the thing brings you, right? I know people who would say, hey, if you think that you want to just have this big old expensive mansion, then you're a materialistic person and you're shallow and all that kind of stuff. And no, that can be true, because if all it was the house, then maybe I could be accused of being shallow and materialistic. But if I understand that visualizing the house is just a tool to get me going,
to do good things,
to do good things, to make an impact, to be at my best, to try hard, these types of things. If, with that in mind, oh, I'm not just a shallow materialistic person looking for a house. And it's very, very an interesting thing, because I've learned that when we look at others' lives and when others look at our lives, nobody has the whole story. We can look at somebody and make a judgment call on what we see, but we don't know the whole story. We don't know what brought them to this point. We don't know. Like I was thinking about that the other day when I saw a guy with a cardboard sign out on the road, and he had, anything helps, whatever stuff written on there. There are some people who are actually homeless that do that, and there are other people who just do that because they want to. I remember I was doing a home inspection one time, and at this vacant house, and one of the guys was sitting on the porch at the house next door, and he was talking on his cell phone, and he said, yeah, I'm going to need to go stand out on the corner because I need to go buy some cigarettes, and I need to go get some money for cigarettes. It's so like he was going to go panhandle for some money for some cigarettes, but he was living in this house, and so he was making it, but even then, I don't know the whole story. I don't. And when people look at you, they don't know the whole story either. A lot of times we get caught in this trap of wanting to please another person, or wanting to, make somebody happy with us, or make somebody happy in general. And we can't make another person happy. It's great to have people say nice things about you. It's great to have people congratulate you, or to feel like, hey, I did something good, and so now they're accepting of me. That's wonderful. However, that motivation is very temporary and very fleeting, and it's also basically it's something that will leave you quickly, I think. And another thing, if you're like me, you're going to screw something up and like make them unhappy, because I'm pretty good at that. So one of the things I've had to realize is that, hey, it's not my job to make other people happy. It's not my job to, look like I'm perfect so other people will act like they respect me. Because, hey, they don't know the whole story, and I don't know the whole story about them either. So the key then, it's an internal battle. How can I be at my best? Like Ryan was talking about. What can make you the best version of yourself? And what habit can you develop in order to get there? Because rather than, like we were talking about before, rather than having something big, just small habits. And make them easy to accomplish at first. When I was out of the habit of working on music and working on songs for an upcoming album, I would set a goal to just open the file on my computer of that music project. Not to work on it, just to open it and look at it. And you know what? Eventually, it's funny because I open it and then I want to start working on it, right? So
yeah, you open it and you press play and you listen. And you're like, oh, got to do that. Got to hold on, change this.
Exactly. It's very true. And so the point is, I knew that would trigger some activity. But I also knew that if I wrote down for a goal anything beyond that, then my mind would be like, oh, no, that's too big. I'm just going to put it off till tomorrow. I don't have time to get into all that and all that kind of stuff. And so, but this way, it's just like, all I'm doing is opening it. I got time to open it, and I'm just going to close it. I'm going to open it. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to close it. But that doesn't work. I opened it. I looked at it. I hit play, like Ryan was saying, and I was like, oh, I better work on that. I better fix that part. And before you know it, I've done a whole bunch of stuff. And it was cool. But I had to start with that little hurdle of just opening it. And then from there I could go on. But I don't know. That's probably the best I have. Ryan, did you have anything else?
Nope. I worked good.
It. All right, cool. Hey, Baka, thank you so much for the topic. And I hope some of that makes sense. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask, or feel free to, post something in the chat, and man, I wish you the best.
Yeah,
but
I hope you get better soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you get sick, or, it's amazing the things that can knock us off track. Just getting sick or staying up too late one night. Sometimes that's the one thing for me, man. Sometimes I just stay up like till midnight, and then I'm like, oh, now my whole week's thrown off. You know? But the next day, I can always start again, which is beautiful. And you can too. So anyway, thanks, Baka. And wow, hey, Generally Scorched Toast, thank you. Thanks for the kind words. That's wonderful. You guys are amazing.
Yeah.
So we have, let's see. Meow Leto. I don't know how to pronounce that. How would you prefer?
Meow.
Just meow? Okay. Hey, meow.
Call him Meow, I think.
We've got, Meow put a bunch of topics. It looks like 8 topics in one post.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, yeah. Thank you so much. Oh, that's supposed to be number 9. Wait. Okay. Anyway. Let's see. Did we get any off of that? Were there any? Oh, we've got one from Pear too. Did Pears come in before that?
Pears came in before it.
Okay. All right. So let's do Pears, and then we'll grab one of those first ones from Meow. How's that? Sound like a plan?
Cool.
That sounds like a plan. All right. We got one from Pear. Hey, that Pear kid. Nice to see you. We've got one about time management from Pear. Let's see. Again, we've got a legit link. You can click it. I'm not even gonna re-click. I'm not gonna repost it because that's the one right there. See it?
It is the one. Boom.
However, the topic bar will have to wait since it's a newer topic. So
That's all right.
Okay.
We'll
I
get there.
apologize.
We'll get there. It's no big deal. So anyway, but if you want to go ahead and read it for us, that would be wonderful, Princess.
I would be honored to. Normally, my mind would allow for focusing on a single topic at a time for a month or so. I'd be really into something like Undertale, and I'd mostly talk about that when given the chance to speak freely. Then suddenly I might get sidetracked, and that topic might change to a specific musical artist, such as Static P. Ever since I can remember, I've been changing topics, with the most time spent on a single topic being a month or so, and the least being a day or two. Recently, however, my topics have been changing rapidly. Within a single day, I'd be watching anime, then a different TV show, and then maybe playing a game on my laptop, and maybe one on my phone. In my mind, it's extremely hectic. It feels like everything that I've ever been interested in is now suddenly becoming interesting again, but I have no time to do any of it. My indecisiveness isn't helping me choose which one to focus on either, especially when I think of making a list of all the things I want to do, quote unquote, soon. It's overwhelming me as I'm unable to manage my time in any way, and since I have so much I want to do, I don't get to do the things that I need to, and then the day ends. It's so difficult dealing with everything I want to and being unable to do most of it because I can't decide. It's confusing my friends because I get quote unquote busy for a few days, sidetracked in some way. The interests all have different reasons. Some I want to look into because friends recommended them, some I want to continue on because I wanted to help my friends in it, usually multiplayer games. Some I want to get back into because I knew how much I loved it when I first got into it. Some I bought the book or the game or whatever for, but never had the chance to actually use it. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to manage my time like this, especially if the thought of making a list gives me anxiety because I know how long it would be.
Mm.
From Pear.
Nice.
Thank you, Pear. And again, this is a very great topic. Man, oh man, because I also understand the indecisiveness. There are times when I'm just trying to figure out. I'll be trying to figure out I have like a 20-minute snippet of time where I want to just relax and I want to watch something either on Amazon Prime or Netflix or something just to kind of veg out for a little bit, because every once in a while it's nice to do that. But I'll sit there for like 15 minutes trying to decide which one.
Man, that's like me trying to pick food out.
Oh my gosh.
At a restaurant. They all sound so good. I don't know.
That's why I eat the same thing every day now. Like,
oh my gosh.
It makes it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this this is a topic about time management and being indecisive. We'll get the topic up there soon. But anyway,
liking a ton of things.
What's that?
And liking a ton of things.
And liking a ton of things. Yes,
do
absolutely. Yeah. So then I guess the question, so how to manage your time. And yeah, one of the keys that a lot of people will tell you is just make a list of them all. But the thought of making the list causes anxiety. So I definitely understand being at that level of overwhelm, and hopefully something we say is going to be helpful. Pear says, in context, it's mostly due to the overwhelming amount of thoughts flooding my head every nanosecond. So you have a very active mind as well. So I'm going to turn over to Ryan because he has a very active mind as well. And if you knew all the things that were going on in there, you'd be excited.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That was a statement.
I only know a few of them, and I'm excited.
Oh, that's good. Okay, so I guess first off the bat, if your mind is going through all these things, I have a question for you. Are you drinking anything that has like high caffeine or like energy drinks or anything like that? What are you eating and drinking, I guess? And is anything possibly exciting or not allowing you to calm down? Because certain drinks can do that to us. So it's important to not necessarily stay away from them for good, but to give them breaks at the least, so that our minds can get back to a more normal state. I know that caffeine for a lot of people does that. It makes their brain go like 400 miles an hour, but then they get zero distance because they're just like running their legs on ice. You know, they're not going anywhere. So, yeah, you know, for me, with what you gave right off the bat, what I would start with is the stuff I've already invested into. So, you know, you have things like you said, books and games that you've purchased and you've never played or never read. I would start with that, because then I'm not spending more money on something that I'm making use of the money I've spent, and I'm not spending more money on something that I might not also get to. I might not have the time for. So I try to make sure I am frugal with the way that I live my life. And that includes with my purchases, like that I've already bought. I should probably do something with this since I bought it. You know, that sort of mentality. But on that mentality, when we live our lives, I think there's an important overlying question we can apply to everything and all the choices that we make. And that is, what's good for me? You know, why do this in the first place? You know, to ask those bigger questions helps us decide. You know, whenever I'm faced with multiple decisions I can make, if I ask myself that one question, just what's going to be the best for me, for my soul, for who I am as a person, right? And I look at them, I can immediately rule out a bunch of them. Sometimes I'll be like, well, that one sounded like it was going to be fun, but I also know the actors in that movie, and I can tell you that it's probably not going to be good for my brain. Probably not going to be good for my soul or my habits as an individual. So I'll take those out of the picture. And now I'm left with these couple, you know? So that's something that I run through with myself when I've got a lot of decisions to make, when I've got a lot of choices to choose from. I can ask myself, okay, which of these choices is going to be the best for my future? And sometimes I ask that question and I realize none of these things help me with my future. So I'm just going to say no to all of them and find a different set of things that I can do. Sometimes I ask that question, I immediately go, Ryan, you know you should be doing your homework. I don't have homework, so like, but back then, you know, or Ryan, you know you should be working instead, or you know you should be whatever. Like, you know you have those things that you didn't do today. Wash the dishes, work out, eat. In general, eat. I don't know. Most people don't have that problem, but it's sometimes I do. Like, oh yeah, I didn't eat yet. I should do that. It's probably good for my future. Yeah. That being said, entertaining yourself is a healthy thing to do, but to overindulge is to waste your time and actually create negative situation in your head where your brain stops being less creative. You can't be as creative anymore because you've indulged in too much creativity from other people. And that sounds weird, but it's just the truth. You've consumed too much and you haven't been given the chance to practice exhaling your creativity. And so it's practice that makes perfect, not consuming other people's practice, right? Because we don't get practice really. Watching other people play basketball might teach me a thing or two, but most of my abilities in basketball come from the fact that I've never played it, which makes me terrible. So that being said, when I'm confronted, so just baseline, when I'm confronted, I ask myself, what's best for my future? What's good for me? And that usually helps me break down a few of them and figure out, okay, now I've got between these few choices. Like instead of 14 choices, now it's 3. And that makes it a lot easier to choose. Then another thing, Princess can relate to me on this one, because Princess does this too. I remember doing this as a kid. You go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by his toe, right? If he hollers, let him go, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, however that goes, right? And then you land on one, right? And your brain goes, oh, dang it, I was hoping it would be the other one. And you're like, well, duh, then I'll pick the other one, all right? But eeny, meeny, miny, mo is a really great way to figure out what your heart actually wants. Because sometimes we don't know. We're like, oh, I want this one, but I also want this one. Oh, but I want that one. And then you go and you do let randomness choose for you. And then when you finish, you're like, I didn't really want that one, I guess. All right, there we go. Now I know which one I want. Um, and I know I've done that as a child in the past, especially with cereal. Um, but yep, Princess can confirm that it's 100% helpful. So there you go. Those are my two big ones that I'll start off with. As for helping decide between choices, for time management, I think that's super important, and I think Joe has a lot better stuff to say on that. So I'm gonna get over to him.
Time management. I don't know how to manage
Time's
time.
up.
I'm still
And
trying
back
to
to me.
figure. Perfect. Take it.
Yep. All right. Nope. All right.
Yeah. So I'll tell you what. I saw your post in the chat that there, Pear, about being physically shaky right now. One of the things I understand, I've been through panic attacks. I've been through a lot of that stuff, and we can get overwhelmed in our mind, right? And so one of the keys that I've learned in this is exhaling. A lot of times people say, take a deep breath. And yes, that's good to take a deep breath. But then the key is to exhale that deep breath. And exhale it all the way. Exhale it almost to the point where you start to now this is going to sound really gross, but there's this exercise that I learned called cat vomits. I'm not necessarily
I love it.
The point of the exercise, you're on your hands and your knees, right? And you exhale, and you forcefully exhale, and you picture like pressing your belly button against your spine. So you squeeze your midsection to the
With
point.
your hands or?
Nope, you're on your
Just by
hands and your
breathing.
knees. So you just like push your midsection in, and you're kind of like imagining your belly button going all the way back and touching your spine. And so you push that hard, right? So I'm not saying you have to do cat vomits, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. But the point is to empty your lungs and to kind of push the air out of your lungs. Like feel yourself kind of exhaling every last little bit of air. And so then you can take a real deep breath because you have no choice but to, right? Like your body kind of automatically does that. And this is an interesting thing too. Like I've noticed when exercising, it's the same thing where sometimes you get a side cramp when you're doing some kind of exerting yourself and you're getting your heart rate up and you're breathing heavily and all that kind of stuff. And so I would always like think, okay, I got to take deep breaths because the problem is I've got, I don't have enough oxygen. No, actually the problem is I have too much carbon dioxide. I'm not breathing out enough. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So I've noticed that. So if I get that side cramp, I immediately put my arms up like this and I kind of stretch and I take a deep breath and I breathe it out, all of it out. And so that way I make sure I get like as much air out of my lungs, empty my lungs as much as possible. And like that gets rid of the side cramp a lot quicker because it's not that I need oxygen so much as that I need to get rid of the stuff that I'm not exhaling, if that makes sense. And so one of the things that I picture when I'm exhaling is I picture all of these things that are on my mind. I picture that I'm breathing those out as well. And I'm emptying my mind of those. Just like I'm emptying my lungs of the air. I'm emptying my mind of all these things that are on my mind that are clogging up my brain, that are making me think. Maybe they're making my mind race, whatever. And I'm getting rid of those. And it's a great time to start dismissing thoughts. Meditation can be so helpful. And meditation is simply the act of existing without thought. And so one of the things, as you're going into a meditative state, one of the things I say to focus on is focus on your breathing. Focus on inhaling, exhaling, full inhale, full exhale. Focus on your breathing. Focus on your deep breaths. If some other thought comes into your head of something you have to do, or something you have to decide, or something you'd like to do, or a goal you'd like to run after, dismiss it. And I say, thank you, you're dismissed. So that way there's no stress. I'm not stressed about getting rid of the thought. That's why I say thank you. I say thank you, like sincerely, thank you for the thought, and you're dismissed. Thank you for the thought, you're dismissed. And I go through that. And anytime a thought pops into my head, thank you for the thought, you're dismissed. And I get back to focusing on my breathing. And after a while of doing that, sometimes it takes some practice. You might not get there all the way. I still don't all the time. Like sometimes there's just too much and I can't quite get there, but I get close. But it's very, very cleansing to get to that point of simply existing. I don't have anything to prove to anyone. I don't have anything, to work on. I don't have anything to be concerned about. There's nothing. I just simply am there. I am being. And quite honestly, that's the very thing that gives you your value, is that you exist. We get caught up in, being valuable because we're good at something. Or because, we have a talent. Or because, we've worked hard and we've been productive. Or because we're good at a sport or whatever. And our culture does not help at all with this because, that's what we glorify. We glorify this fame, these people that are, good at things, or these people that have accomplished great things or, whatever. And they tell us how we should vote and all these kinds of things because they're good at acting. And so somehow they're good at politics too. And, all, all this craziness, right? Sorry, Ryan.
You're so right, dude. I don't know if we need to get into that, but you are so right. It's so annoying. I love you for saying that. Thank you.
But Pear says, may I ask a question? Of course you may ask a question. Okay, so it looks like we've got to think, kind of like, it's not that I need positivity, it's that I need less negativity. I used to do that sometimes. Breathe in, visualizing tension building up and being overwhelmed, and breathe out, imagining all the negativity leaving. Yep, you can do that. If it works, then great. If not, you can try that thought dismissal thing that I was talking about. But when you get to that point where you're empty of your thoughts and your concerns, and all you are is existing, you're free. At that moment, there's a freedom and there's a peace that can come over you. And I find, because I'm a praying person, that's a great time to enter into prayer. And I don't even need to say anything. Oh, Pear says, am I important? And don't say yes just because everyone's important. I'm wondering if I'm genuinely important to you. Anyone genuinely thinks I deserve importance? Of course. And I don't, and I know, just because everyone's important. No, it's because you are you. It's because you are the only you. I've seen some of your performances on the YouTubes.
YouTubes, as they would say in Britain. YouTube. I don't know where they get the CH from, but they put it in there.
Yeah. And but that's not why I think you're important either. It's just one thing that makes you you, that makes you an amazing creation. You've got skills in certain areas that other people don't. You know, you've got a heart for other people. You're here on this show. My YouTube is awful. Oh, stop. It is not. I've seen awful YouTubes.
I've seen awful YouTubes.
Awful YouTubes. But it's
awful. It's
an amazing thing. You think about this. Okay. So when we all start, you know, I can't go into too much detail on this, but you are like a 1 in billions chance of existing. Your makeup, you know, because there were 2 people that brought you into existence, you know, along with God, and the combination of your genes and chromosomes and everything, that is like a 1 in billions chance that makeup would happen. And that happened. Anything different, any little difference in there, you would have been different. And so you're unique. There's not going to ever be another person like you. There's never been a person like you before, ever. And because of that, the world needs you. We're not a mistake. And there's something that you're here for. And one of the joys in life, and I look at my 2 sons, and I'm excited for this with them as well. It's not, you know, I look at my sons and I hope that I never give them the impression that I want them to be a little version of me or another me. Or I want them to be a certain kind of person. Like I want them to be a really good athlete or a really good musician or a really good, you know, whatever. No, it really doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is that I want to see what their purpose is. I want to see what they're going to grow up to be. I want to see what they're good at, what they're going to find in themselves to bring out. And we all have something. We all have something special. I learned this by watching Twitch. Well, I learned it before I watched Twitch, but I had it reinforced to me watching Twitch. Huh?
You've seen it while watching Twitch.
I've seen it while watching Twitch, yes. I've seen a channel called Mary's Milk Monsters on Twitch. Sounds like it could be gross, but it's not. It's this gal. She has a goat farm. And she milks goats. And she talks with you while she milks goats. And then, you know, she's got other farm chores to do. She's got to shovel out all the stuff that's in a goat barn, you know, like all the combination of hay and other slimy stuff that ends up on the floor. And, you know, like, so there's all this farm work to do. And she just gets there on the stream and she does farm work while she's streaming. And I'm like, that's amazing. Like, she's not trying to impress anybody. She's just being herself. And that's so refreshing because for so much of my life, I've always thought about, okay, how can I make music that's marketable? How can I do something that's going to be successful? How can I kind of arrange everything that I'm doing so it can be good enough to, you know, like be recognized or to be successful or to get a lot of plays and whatever so he can make a successful career out of this. And then quietly, Ryan was just himself, creates a persona called Static P, and just blows all of us away with the Criminal Idol season, with all these things. And he's just being himself. And I'm like, this is such a beautiful time to be alive because we can just be ourselves, and the people that are going to like us can find us. No longer do we have to submit ourselves to, what TV and radio executives try and cram into our minds. We can be ourselves. We can find the people who like that and jive with that, and we can be their friends. We can be in community with them, and we can all love each other. It's so cool. So, anyway, I've talked for a while. I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan. Ryan?
Great. Yeah, and that was on time management. So no, I'm just kidding.
Time management? Manage your time.
Yeah, geez, what were you thinking? Duh. Done. Pear says, I was asking more in the sense of, have you seen Hunger Games, specifically Mockingjay?
I have. It's been a while, though.
Yeah, he said, in the movie, I know Haymitch probably says, everyone think of a time Katniss moved you, and not when Peeta made you like her or you were jealous of her dress, when she genuinely made you feel something. He said in continuation, and I feel like I rarely hear about things like that. Sure, my parents say I'm proud of you for things that I quite frankly don't care about, but I rarely hear genuine compliments. Well, the interesting thing is, the moment you posted anything, you've technically altered our lives. Pear. Like, immediately, this conversation would never happen without you, right? Obviously. And you make an impact on people with your personality. If you want a compliment, I have always enjoyed myself around you. You bring joy to me, and you are a very joyful person, and I really like that about you. But outside of that, like, everything that you do, every time you make an interaction with somebody, you've changed their lives. They can't go back from that. It's permanent, and it happened, right? And the fact is, your personality, the personality that you've built in yourself over years of trained action, affects that person through your actions, how you perform them, how you hold yourself, how you speak. All of that changes the people around you. And it's hard to notice. In fact, it's actually literally impossible to notice all the different things you make changes in other people. And most people don't notice them themselves. But sometimes, every once in a while, you get a wink or a wisp, a wisp, a tiny notion of somebody else in your life. Like 10 years later, you think about your friend, you're like, wait a minute. Oh, he used to do that. That's why I probably am that way. I learned it from him, whether it be a good thing or a bad thing, and the way we support each other, the way that you support people that you're around, and the influence you make through that changes people's lives in that moment, and therefore forever. We have lasting impact on people when we don't even know what's going on. So they say, I don't remember. I think it's somewhere. I don't know if it's like actually in the Bible or not. Pretty sure it's not, but they say you won't know all of the wonderful things or all of the way that you've positively impacted people until you're dead. And then you'll understand everything that you've done that was good. And if you believe in God and that's true, that's awesome, because we're not going to know. We're never going to know how much of an impact we made. I wouldn't say that the impact made us any more important or any less important. But the fact that we make an impact is a beautiful thing, and we should try to make a positive impact. Our importance, our value, whether we should exist or not, has already been spoken of. You exist. But it's not one of those things where it's like a wrench. When we go out and we buy a tool, right? We compare the value of that tool based on what we're going to do with it. You know, hey, I'm going to use this wrench once. I only need it to work once. I don't care about it after that. We will buy a cheap wrench. Or if we're like a car mechanic and we know we're going to be needing this wrench a lot, we want it to be durable, and we're going to buy a very pricey wrench. And so our value of it is determined upon the job that we're going to do, how much we're going to get paid from it, how good of a performance the tool does, you know, all of this kind of stuff. But you're a human. You're not a tool. When your friend hands you a piece of paper, it's blank, it's got nothing on it. You look at the piece of paper, it's like, this has no value, you know? But some bully comes around and they try to take it from you. And what do? You pull it away from him. You're like, no, you're not allowed to have this piece of paper. Why? Because that piece of paper, the value of that piece of paper is not dependent upon the piece of paper itself. The value of that piece of paper is upon your friendship, your relationship. But now let's say your bully hands you a piece of paper, and for some reason you're feeling good that day. You're feeling like a good person. And your friend tries to take that paper from you and rip it up. And you're like, no. You can't do that. This is blah, blah, blah's piece of paper. And I know we don't like him because he's a bully, but this is his paper. I'm not going to do that. I'm a good person. Now what's the value of that paper? How the heck? Because it's not based on the relationship you had with that bully. It's not based on the relationship you have with a friend. It's not based on a relationship you have with the paper. It's not the paper. It's all of a sudden your morals that determine the paper's value.
And the airplane you can make out of it.
And the airplane you can make out of it, yeah, sure. God is that way. If you believe in God, God is the ultimate moral being. He's completely holy. It doesn't matter how much you get stomped on or trampled. It doesn't matter how the rest of the world looks at you. It doesn't matter how much you perform. Doesn't matter if you're a blank piece of paper or you've got scribbles all over or tears. You're valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So that's on whether you're important or not. You are incredibly, infinitely important beyond our understanding and beyond what you'll ever know. It just is that way. And as you go through your life, you will find that to be truer and truer as you recognize it in others. Anyways, that's what I got to say on that topic. I don't know if that's helpful. But as for the main topic of this, for time management, we should probably get to the next topic. Because we're short on time. You get it? Okay, that was great. All right, I'm an idiot. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much else to say for the first topic. People recommend writing it down. That can be hard. If you want to make sure you get your homework done before you go off and do all the other fun things that you really want to do, all your school stuff, then what I would do is do that first. Always do the stuff that you need to get done first. Because if you go off on some adventure, who knows when you'll get back? And when you get back to it, you're not going to have any more motivation than you had at the beginning of the day. In fact, you're going to have less motivation to do it than you had at the beginning of the day. So try to start your days off doing your work, because then you get it out of the way. That's what I do with most things now. Like my mom tells me something and I just do it immediately. If it's anything I have to do around the house or whatever, if I have to go help with somebody, if I have to like drive to my brother's to drop something off, right? Anything. I just do it right off to get it out of the way. I don't have to worry about it the rest of the day and I'm free, because I know that the longer the day goes on, the more my mind has spent thinking about it, like, hey, you need to do that. Hey, you need to do that. Hey, you need to do that. And I'm like annoyed. It's like, I just need to go do it at the beginning of the day. That way I'm not stressed out about it for the rest of the day. And I can actually enjoy the rest of my day, not worrying about it. So that's my time management for you. Just do it. Just get it out of the way to begin with, and then do the things that you want to do outside of that. Anyways, back to you, Joe.
Well, thanks, Ryan. And thank you, Per, for the kind words. Since you said all this about me, I thought it'd be nice to mention that Ryan and Joe were incredibly influential in a very dark time in my life and have been a rock for me in hard times. I am so glad to hear that, because that really, that like we said at the beginning, that's what we want to be. We just want to be your guys' friends. We want to help in any way we can. We know we're not professionals. We know we don't know. We're not educated in psychology and psychiatry and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? Hey, if we can shed some light a little bit, man, that's awesome. Meow, yes, you can see the chat after the stream ends. Like when you watch it again, you will be able to see the chat. Probably both in the chat section on YouTube and on the screen. That's why we have the live chat thing on the screen there too. But yeah, I love Arakachi's suggestion here. I suggest setting timers for time management. I have ADHD and they really help. I have not been diagnosed with ADHD and they really help me too. Like, that's, yeah, to set a timer and to know, like, okay, especially when I have a task that I know is going to take a while, I will set a timer and I'll just set it for 30 minutes or 25 minutes or 50 minutes maybe if I'm feeling ambitious, and I'll just go for that amount of time, and then I know to take a break when that timer goes off, or I know I need to switch. I remember Ryan talking about, he was going through, we were going through some of the, it seemed like countless auditions for Criminal Idol Season 2. I think we have over 600 people submitted auditions, and every single person, except for very few, submitted more than one. So
more than one role. They did multiple characters. So I think the average is like 4 characters each.
Yep.
Over 600. So yeah.
Yep. And so Ryan was explaining to us, we had a staff meeting and Ryan was explaining his day, and he was like, yep. So I set my timer for an hour and I'd work on auditions for an hour, and then I'd work on music for an hour, and then I'd do some entertainment for an hour, and then I'd go back and I'd do auditions for an hour, and then and he just cycled through that. Right. And I was like, that's it. If you want to get good at time management, timers are so important. And I remember watching, this came at a really weird place. There was this movie, I don't even remember, it had Denzel Washington in it. And he would time himself, this character, he would time himself doing everything, right? So like getting his stuff on, he would time himself and he would see how long it took him. He wasn't trying to go fast. He was just wanting to see how long it would take. Right? And then he could be more efficient. So like, I know where my time was today, how long it took me to do this today, especially if it's a task, like, it's kind of a repetitive task, something you might do. Like I'll look at the dishes and I'll be like, how long is it going to actually take me to do the dishes?
Right. Then you have I like that, because then you have a general idea of, like, you look at the dishes and that should take about 7 minutes based on the last time I did that same amount of dishes.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That's cool.
Yep. It's beautiful, because then you can really get into like, okay, why am I stressed out about this thing? It's only going to take me 5 minutes. It's going to be 5 minutes out of my life. Big deal, like it's not going to be that bad. So those can be really, really helpful. Princess, so 600 people with 4 auditions each is 2,400 auditions. Yeah, that's a lot of auditions. Ryan's been through them all. I have not. I've been
that's my
working on
job.
stuff.
So
yeah, that's
I
true.
better.
Yep. So if you did audition, I see Arakachi, you did. Thank you very much for your auditions.
Thank you, everybody who submitted one.
Absolutely.
My gosh, I've been blown away. There's so many good voice. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really hard to narrow it down.
Yeah, it is. You guys are making it difficult, but anyway, those are some things to do on time management. I know a lot of the thing is on task management, and I think one of the best things you can do when you're overwhelmed by all the different things, you don't even want to make a list because you're overwhelmed. I would go back to try to empty your mind and get to that baseline where you don't have anything there. And then you can pick the things like Ryan was talking about. What are the things that are going to actually make a difference? What are the things that are going to move me forward? And let's put those in first. And then from there, if they're not going to necessarily move you forward and they're not evil, well, then you can eeny, meeny, miny, moe your way. And that's beautiful. So, anyway, Pear, understand, we love you. And man,
Yeah.
It's always a blessing when you show up. It's always wonderful to have you here in the chat with us. So
It is.
thank you for being here. And yeah, I think we ought to move on to another topic so we can do one of Meow's topics there.
We've got 20 minutes left, so
Yep. So that ought to be time to grab one
thank
of
you,
those.
Princess.
And
Princess
yes,
is the one that keeps us on our timer, which is amazing.
yes, she does.
Doesn't keep us on our timer, but she lets us know where the timer's at,
She does.
which is super helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's one of those things, it came out of just, we were doing this show and then she just started doing it. And it was like, oh man, that's so helpful.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you so much for the topic, Pear. And I hope that some of that was beneficial. And yeah, understand that we love you and we love having you here. So keep coming back. But anyway, so yeah, so we've got Meow. We've got some topics that were posted here in the chat. We're gonna have to just like pick one and do it. Oh wow, did you hear that? The dinger dong.
The dinger dong?
The dinger dong. You didn't hear it.
The dinger dong done.
Everybody else heard it, I bet.
Dong gone
Did you
dinger.
guys all hear the dinger ding?
That dong gone dinger dong ding ding. Darn it. That's a hard thing.
It is. Man, oh man. Unless you live
Ding
down south.
dong dinger dong dingy.
Then it's a little easier. Ding. Yep, they heard. See, they heard
They heard
the
it.
dinger.
I ain't hear no dings.
Yep.
I was also wondering for this topic because you might want to like intertwine some of the things if you wanted to like cover it twice and just do some of it now because it's
we could-
it's a little hard to just separate them because some of them really lead into each other. But
That's totally true. It's totally true. So you don't have a preference, Meow? Don't know if I I heard that dang dinger dong like a dung ding.
Yeah, this dong dinging dong dong.
That'll P when he's 80. That ding ding dinger dong. You're no ding ding dinger. You guys are great.
we should move on though if we want to actually get to this topic though.
Yes, we should. You're absolutely right.
Oh my gosh. Dong ding ding dong. Dong dong ding.
Well, why don't we just grab the first one
Okay.
and do self-doubt?
Okay.
Because, hey, it's number one. And we'll just start with that. So let's talk about self-doubt. What do you think?
Sounds great.
All right. Was there any Meow, did you have anything specific about self-doubt? Was there any like specific issue that you were dealing with self-doubt, or is it just that in general? Self-doubt. And if you guys want
That's why the list might help. Not that it's total context, but you might get a more full picture.
Yeah, so we've
Okay.
got self-doubt, unwanted thoughts and emotions. Feeling like I don't fit in. That would tie into self-doubt pretty well. Feeling like I'm not good enough. That would be self-doubt as well. Lack of determination, being hard on myself, worrying too much, and being overwhelmed. And also the YouTube message limit.
and then I reached the message limit. That's
And that one is one that we cannot help with.
Or you can
At
go
all.
to the website and post your own stuff there.
I mean, I would say figure out how to say things shorter, but you pretty much did it already. You
Yeah.
made things pretty short. So
You did. Couple words for each one. It was
Yep,
yes.
can't help you.
Yes. But yeah, okay, not feeling like I'm good enough. So self-doubt and feeling like I'm not good enough. So yeah, those definitely and feeling like I don't fit in can kind of go into that as well. Did you say that?
yeah, I said that could fit in.
Princess, I love your paraphrase. That's going in the schnaz right now. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right.
Oh, okay. We missed the other one was
Oh,
self
the last one
harm.
was
Is
self-harm.
factual. Okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Got it. Love you too, Pear.
Yes. So so I'm gonna change that reaching the message limit to self-harm.
Yeah, same thing.
All right. Well, let's just let's start with self-doubt. And go from there. What do you say?
Sounds great.
All right. Ryan?
All right. Cool.
No.
Yeah.
Meow. All of these things are wonderful for this shows exactly the things that we handle. All of these. And if we can touch on all of them, we will. If we can touch on just the ones that kind of relate to self-doubt, we'll do that, and we'll do the best we can. But understand that these are great because these are things that everybody struggles with. This isn't just unique to you. I mean, a lot of times when we're dealing with something like this, we feel like we're all alone. We look around at everybody else, and everybody looks so confident and so polished and so wonderful. And like, man, they're a great basketball player. And I can't even jump right. And, like, what the heck? And, so we look at other people and we think, man, they've got their lives all put together. But you know what? Everybody has got something. And a lot of times the people they're the most shiny, the most looking like they're so well put together, they're the most afraid because they know they're shamming everybody. They're putting out all this stuff to make them look like they're so together. But inside, they're just like all of us. They're full of self-doubt. They're full of, it's hard, and there's a lack of peace. And really, I look at things. There's really only one way to true peace, and that's with, between us and our Creator. That, for me, that's kind of the way I look at that. But even still, no matter how good that gets, while we live here on this earth, we deal with these things from time to time. And so Ryan has helped me so much through a lot of stuff and a lot of these things, just talking to him. So I'm looking forward to hearing what he has to say. So Ryan?
Well, thanks, Joe. You've definitely helped
thank
me
you.
with self-doubt and all this kind of stuff. Like, as much as maybe I've helped you, you've helped me like 2 times. So,
I was gonna think like 10, but okay, 2.
I was trying to make you look humble, but whatever, dude. Fine. 20 times is a little bit more accurate.
I'm just kidding.
I was trying to withhold from like making everybody feel like, oh, Joe's the best guy in the world, because he is. But I don't want other people to see that, so they don't feel, because that's one way to give a lot of people self-doubt, because they can't be Joe.
Isn't that funny? Baka says, Joe, Discord says you're playing Minecraft for like 4 hours. Yep, it's still open. That's funny.
That's right. I do that all the time.
Yep. Now
anyways,
it's closed now.
So, yeah, self-doubt is an interesting thing. I had insane amount of self-doubt, really, really low self-esteem, basically all the way from 2nd grade all the way until probably the last 2 years of high school, and even still a little bit during them. And even now, sometimes I have a little bit of self-doubt, and it's pretty normal. I wouldn't say that I was some extraordinary case. I realize now, later in life, that there were a lot of people just like me. I was the kind of person that was really quiet, and didn't really say much because I was afraid of what people think. And I'll tell you how I got over that. I started being a little louder. And I started going up to people and just talking to them. You know, what happened was I was playing this game. It's called Ragnarok Online. I'm going to tell the story. I've told it a million times. I was playing this game called
Good story.
Ragnarok Online. It's a great game. It was a game that is an online game with a bunch of other people. And you have a little character and you can move the character around and you can make them sit down next to somebody and talk. You can fight monsters and things like that, right? So it was an MMORPG. Anyways, in the game, I had tons and tons of people who liked me. I would log online and people would just message me right away going, "Static," with all capitals and an exclamation mark. Like they really wanted to talk to me. And it felt good. You know, I was like, this is great. I've got tons of friends online. And then I thought, but what's wrong with me? Because offline, when I'm not online, like at school, I have like 3 friends. What's up with that? Like, and then I realized, because I am a very different person online than I am in real life. The problem wasn't everybody else. The problem was me. But the problem wasn't me. It was the way I thought about myself. When I was online, when I was Black Static is what I called myself. When I was online, I wasn't afraid to talk to people. I wasn't afraid to compliment people. I wasn't afraid to tell a bad joke. I wasn't afraid to, be around other people and be seen. I wasn't afraid to put on a funny hat and run around saying waka 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 waka. And I did. And I totally did. But in real life, when I got around people, I was like, no, I don't want people to think I'm weird. I don't want people to think, I don't want people to point out that I'm trying something new. Like, hey, they see me, wearing a new shirt. That's super scary. Like, I don't want people to point out that I'm wearing a new shirt. I don't want people to like, oh, you're doing something new, huh? And people trying to get interested. That's super weird and embarrassing, and I don't like it, The funny thing is, it's backwards because in reality, most people aren't even thinking about me. Most people are thinking about themselves, wondering what other people think about them. And the truth is, no one's thinking about them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how we are. We're always like worried about what other people are going to think about us. But have we spent time worrying about what we think about others? Not as much. We do on occasion, but not as much. And we can come to realize that, you know what? A lot of people just aren't thinking about us. So why do we have to be so scared? And then also, when we hold ourselves back, right? When we hold ourselves back to being open in public about the things we like, complimenting people, going up to people, sitting down and having a conversation like they're a human being, just like us. When we're worried about that, we're presenting ourselves as someone who isn't us. And so no wonder a lot of people don't like us. Or a lot of times what the truth is, a lot of people are fine with us. We just think that they dislike us. I remember going through school, when I graduated, I talked to a couple people and I was like, yeah, I had some people hate on me. And they're like, what? No, Ryan, no one hated you. There was never a reason for anybody to hate you, right? Like everybody either liked you or they just didn't know you. They were indifferent, or, you might have had a couple of bullies, but who cares? They probably didn't hate you either. They were just trying to have fun. It's not that they hated you. It's just that they were trying to have fun and it was at your expense, but they didn't hate you. They didn't really think that bad about you, and it's true. Because I didn't hate that many people. I disliked a lot of people because I thought they disliked me. But the truth was, that's dumb. Because if they don't dislike me, then I'm disliking them I'm accusing them of something they didn't do, right? We can't accuse people of things they didn't do. Like, oh, they don't like me. How do you know? Did you ask them? Did you even present who you were to them? Because did you act like yourself around them, or were you too scared? That's kind of where I was. So helping me with self-doubt, helping with my own appearance and the way that I appear before others, fitting in with people it required me to get out of my comfort zone and stop acting like some shy person, some smarty pants, because in truth I wasn't. I wasn't a smarty pants. I wasn't that shy. I was just scared of what everybody else thought. And getting over my self-doubt was putting myself out there and realizing, hey, when I make a mistake, that's normal and it's completely okay. So there's no reason to be upset about it because everybody does it and it's okay. We weren't made to be perfect. You know, I don't know if you're religious or not. We've kind of talked about this a few times, but when God created the world, when God created human beings, he didn't say, and this is perfect. No, he said, and this is good. We as human beings, we're good. It's good that we exist. We do good things in the world. We are, in a sense, goodness in its existence, right? We are the existence of what is good. And we put more good into the world. We can put evil into the world too. But that's not our intention. That's not your intention, right? So if your intention is good, just do whatever you want. Do the good things. Because you're not being graded on how you messed that up. Because you weren't made perfect. You were made good. So just be good. And that's the only bar that you have to hold yourself to, right? It's the only thing that matters. Because that's what you're made to be. Right? If you're doing good things, don't worry about what other people think. Because their grades don't matter. Because they don't change you. You can allow them to change you. You can allow them to shape you and scare you. But it doesn't, you don't have to. And you don't have to let it impact your soul. Your soul is your own. It's not what they decide it's going to be. So for me, getting over self-doubt was putting myself out there into the world. Sitting down to that person that I knew all the way from second grade until like high school, well into a couple years into high school. And I've known this person. I've never talked to this person once. And I think that they dislike me. And I would walk up and I'd sit down next to that person and I'd say, hey, just want to let you know, it sounds really dumb, but I actually really like your pants. Where'd you get them? And they'd be like, oh, I don't know. My mom bought them, but thanks. Or, yeah, I actually really like these too. You know, I got them at Christmas, you know, whatever. You know, sit down next to someone and have an actual conversation like they're a human being. You know what I find out? I start to feel like I'm a human being because I started treating other people like they're human beings. If I treat everybody like I'm afraid of them, I'm going to treat myself that way too. I'm not going to treat myself well. If I think everybody else is stupid, which I did for a long period of time, I thought everyone was stupid. If they didn't like me, they must be stupid or something. So everyone over there, everyone is stupid. Like they've got something, they don't know how to do math or something. They don't know how English. They don't even English how know. So I was dumb. All right, don't do that. But when I started treating people with kindness, I started to find out that I started treating myself that way too. But I'm not saying that you treat other people that way. My point is, you have to get outside your comfort zone if you want to change something about yourself. You have to do things that you didn't do before if you want to change who you are. And if you're worried about what other people think about you, if you're worried you don't fit in, part of the problem is you're not being yourself. And so, of course, you don't fit in. Because you weren't meant to. You're meant to fit in as who you are. Another thing is, no one completely ever fits in all the way. We're all unique. We're all different. And we're supposed to be. Another thing is, sometimes you don't want to fit in. Sometimes you want to go against the grain. Because that's your true calling. So it's okay if you don't fit in. But you're going to feel a lot more fit and in when you're yourself. And you can, you know, like when you're around your friends, right? You feel a bit more like you fit in than when you're around people you don't know. Make the people you don't know your friends. And you'll start to feel like you fit in a little bit more. Make everybody you've never met before your friend. And treat them like they are your friend. And you'll start to find out you can fit in anywhere. Mm-hmm. I've been in really weird scenarios, meeting people for the first time. And if I just, some of them, I just like, hey man, how's it going? Yeah, yeah, sure. It might be our first time meeting, but I'm like hugging on them because they look like the kind of person that I know that I can have that relationship with, like where I can hug on them and they would be okay with it, right? I can tell by their body language if they'd accept that or not, right? But like, just throw a shoulder on them or pat them on the back or whatever, right? That's something you don't do to people you never met before. But if I act the part of a friend, suddenly I fit in. I fit right in because they're like, hey, this guy's really great. He's so friendly. And if I make them enjoy themselves, then they're going to like me. And then I can have joy myself, right? If you want other people to like you, make them like themselves. Make them enjoy their time. And they're going to like you. And that will help with your self-doubt because then you won't have a reason to doubt yourself. You'll realize through practice, through action, that you had no reason to doubt yourself all along. You just had to get out there and treat people like they're gold. And people will go and treat you like gold back, generally speaking. Some people won't. That's fine. You can't make people happy. But what you can do is you can love them and you can treat them awesome. And most of the time, you'll find out people like that. And they'll show you through their kindness and affection. And then I've been in crazy scenarios. I used to have a job. Joe has this job now where I'd meet people and the context was, hey, we're enemies. Basically, hey, my job is to take pictures of your house for your bank who is trying to, your house is under foreclosure because you haven't been paying your money and they want to take you out of your house. And I'm showing up for them. Nice to meet you. How do you think that goes? Right? Their attitude towards you it depends on from person to person, but some of them, they're quite angry. I've had people threaten me with guns. I've had all sorts of different crazy stuff. People come out of their house screaming. I know Joe's experienced this a lot too. More than I have. He's worked it and more than I have now.
Various weapons.
Yeah. Yep. Like a baseball bat. The stick that lays on the ground.
Sharp objects, firearms, all kinds
dogs.
Dogs.
Yep. And it's amazing how self-confidence drives those scenarios because you walk into them like Joe does this excellently and he's had the experience and I've done it too. You walk in and you're just calm and you go, hey, how's it going? And you're pleasant and calm and you listen to them scream at you and then you reason with them, not by arguing, but saying, you know what, you're absolutely right. And I honestly, I feel that makes me hurt inside. Like I feel bad for you, right? Like if you're honest and you're loving with them and you're just calm, you leave yourself open for attacks, right? You compose yourself in such a way where you're not defensive, but you're just calm. They'll calm down. They always do. And that is not something that you do when you have self-doubt, right? If you have self-doubt, you're going to do all the wrong things in that scenario. Maybe, running away isn't necessarily a wrong thing, but it sure won't get the job done. If you have a job to do, I'll tell you, talking to people and realizing you're human just like they are, being able to love that person the first time you meet them, that's built my self-confidence like crazy. And it doesn't even make sense. Like, how do those two things have to do with each other? Well, I'll tell you, because self-doubt is a relationship with yourself and you need to practice good relationship skills. If you don't like yourself, then you have a bad relationship with yourself. So go to other people who you don't know or who you have a bad relationship with and make that relationship good. And you'll learn how to do it in your own head. And you can start to have a good relationship with yourself so that you don't pick on yourself, because that is a really important relationship, the one you have with yourself. You are a human being and you talk to yourself every single day, multiple times, and you're with yourself 24/7. And you can nitpick all you want, but it doesn't make a good friend. You have to be a good friend to yourself. So be a good friend to others and learn from your example. And start being a good friend to yourself. That's one of the ways. But anyways, I talked for like 15 minutes of the 20 minutes we had. I'm gonna give it over to Joe and see what he's got to say.
Yeah. Um,
Sorry.
I saw an update from you, Meow, saying my biggest critic is me. Was that one of the things that, if that's one of the things you were looking to address, in this, I can totally relate to that because I have been my biggest critic for my entire life. It tells me some
We
stuff
all are.
about you. Yeah, a lot of us. A lot of us deal with that. Now, some people don't. Some people are just like, "Hey, I'm great and I'm the smartest and I'm the best and I'm right even when I know I'm not right. And if you don't like it, it's your fault." And like that's kind of
That's
the
true. Some
attitude.
people are like that.
I know people like that.
Mhm.
But it's interesting because I'm my own worst critic. And part of that stems from, hey, you know what? I'm a creative person. I'm a perfectionist. I'm detail oriented. I like to be right. Okay, I was elaborating on my self-doubt. Yep, absolutely. And that all feeds into it. Like we want to put our best foot forward. We want to put forth the best song. I want to, if I'm going to write lyrics to a song, I want them to be great. If I'm going to produce a song, if I'm going to record it and engineer it and master it and everything like that, I want it to be great. And so every little detail along the way becomes this like big deal, right? I want to make sure I get it super right or else, I'm going to feel like a failure. The interesting thing about that is, you know what? We all fail all the time. I've been my biggest critic for so long, and I started to realize that, you know what? I'm going to mess things up. I'm going to try really hard and I'm not going to do it right. I'm not going to do it perfect. And it's interesting because as I started getting into music production, I started, Ryan and I started producing stuff together, over a decade ago. And, I've noticed some things in this process of since we started way back then and continuing on until now. That, you know what? It's not going to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be because I listen to stuff on Spotify, I listen to stuff on the radio, I listen to stuff on CDs that have sold millions of copies, platinum albums that are amazing, and I can pick out a bazillions of errors that the mixing engineer did. Things that I would do right, things that I would do differently, things that, like when at the mastering phase, they compress this way too much. Like, oh my gosh, it's loud and it's brash and it's almost like clipping the whole time. Like, what? But man, they sold so many of this album. It's crazy. And so I started to understand, like, okay, I guess it doesn't matter. It matters. You want it to be good, but, it doesn't have to be perfect. And it's never going to be. Because nothing in this world is ever perfect, like Ryan was talking about. It's good. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be. But when we strive for that perfection, we can be very critical of ourselves. And that's okay. Meow says, this is the idea I was talking about earlier. If I'm just going to throw this out, I'm just going to throw this out there. I'm into music and stuff. If I wrote a song and I send it to you, Static, if you like it, reach the limit. I totally,
It's a cliffhanger right there.
I totally started reading before I should have. I'm so sorry, Meow. I'll keep going on the point I was making. So here's an interesting thing. So as you go through and you start to deal with this, let me tell you some of the things that might be would you consider making a video of it?
That's interesting. I have once in the past made a video of a song that wasn't mine, but it depends. I can't give that a yes or a no. But I'd like to hear what you got for sure. Share it because Black Static and Swerve, we're getting into promoting other artists now. And
working with
right now we've only got one on its way, but that's a start. And we're gonna take it slow because we've only got a few hands.
Right.
But we love hearing new talent, so please.
Absolutely. I've already got a list of people on my radar screen of people I want to work with and help produce and stuff like that.
Yeah, so make sure you send it to Joe too.
But yeah, so that's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. But at any rate, this is very interesting because I've been my own biggest critic for so long, and I recently had this experience where I was like, man, I guess I've grown in this area a little bit at least. Because all right, because I at least I felt comfortable kind of in this situation. But okay, so I'm a guy, right? And so I got a shopping list from my wife and my mother-in-law, and I was going to the store, and I had to go to the feminine hygiene area and find
So do I.
something. Yeah, see, that's no big deal, right? Now here's the interesting thing. I mean, there's this big taboo about a guy being in the feminine hygiene area, right?
Mm.
People kind of look at you funny, and people, all this kind of stuff. And so here's the interesting thing. They sent me a picture of what they wanted. So I knew exactly what it was. I was like, okay, cool. I'll just find this and I'll get it and I'll grab it and, and I'll take it up front and buy it. And it'll be great. So I go to where it would be, and I didn't see it right off the bat. And so I'm like, I wonder if it's behind some stuff. And so I'm digging around, I'm moving stuff around, and I'm pulling stuff off the shelf and throwing it in my cart. And then okay, just to get it out of the way, right? And then putting it back, and then looking at other areas. And I'm here, and people are walking by me, looking at me weird, and I'm like, still digging through here. And then I call, and I'm like, so I cannot find this here. And my wife goes, yeah, we haven't been able to find that forever. We figured maybe you'd have better luck than us. And I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Really? They did that to you? They should have told you that before you went.
Right,
so you
exactly, man. I was
Oh my
like,
gosh.
seriously?
I love it.
So I'm digging through all this stuff that I'm clearly not built for. And
Yeah, that's great.
And yeah, so that was amazing. But they're like, well, what others do they have there? And so I start listing them off, right? And I look at them, and they're like, well, we don't want to embarrass you and stuff, and I'm like, it's a little late, like let's just make a day of it while we're here, like I'll just stand here. Have you had many people walk by you? Oh yeah. It's a busy day, Sunday afternoon at the store, like.
That's awesome.
So anyway, but here's the thing. There was a time in my life that I would have really, really been upset in that situation. Really upset. Because it was like, man, I would have been embarrassed. I wasn't finding the right thing, which was hard for me because I'm a perfectionist, and I'm a self-critical, and I'm not getting the right thing. And then I would have exploded when I found out that, oh, you just sent me on this wild goose chase for this thing, so you knew all along in the back of your mind that I wasn't going to find this, and you sent me there anyway. Then, so I would have been really upset. But at that point, I was like, man, this is hilarious. And it brought me back to something Ryan told me a long time ago. And he released a song, and I pointed out a few things, and I was like, I think the cymbals were a little bit over compressed, and, because you can hear in these couple crashes, it sounds a little bit funky. He's like, yeah, I left that there on purpose. I'm like, you left it there on purpose? And he's like, yeah, because that way, if somebody knows about that and they pick it out, then it gives them a chance to feel smart. And I was like, is he third partying me? Is he trying to give me a chance to feel smart? That's genius.
Third partying. I haven't heard that phrase in forever, man.
That's when you tell somebody their situation and tell it like it's somebody else's situation, and so it doesn't feel as hard because you're talking about another person when they're actually talking about you. But anyway, I learned something very, very good at that moment. It was an epiphany for me, because I was like, oh, So either I'm going to do something well and it's going to be appreciated because it's done well, or if I mess it up, I give another person a chance to feel important by noticing and pointing out my mistake, which builds another person's self-confidence. It builds their self-esteem. Either way, I win. I either create something awesome that's great, or I give another person the chance to feel good about themselves, which is just as beautiful. In fact, that's even more beautiful. When we give another person the chance to shine, and when we have our heart in the right place and we do that, it is more fulfilling than us shining. When we lift another person up and watch them shine, to me, that's more fulfilling now. And so it was very, very intriguing when Ryan said that. And so now I kind of approach a lot of things like that. Like, okay, so people might be looking at me in the feminine hygiene products, you know, digging around like that. And like some guy might be there with his wife and he's looking at me like, whoa, at least I'm not that guy.
That's great.
You know? So anyway, but I'll tell you, you're never going to be perfect. That's okay. Learn to say the words, oh, well. And you put your hands up in the air too. Oh, well.
Yep, that's what it is. Oh, well.
Because then you don't have to doubt yourself because you know you're not going to be perfect. You've been wrong before. I've been wrong before. I'm probably going to be wrong again today. And I'm going to bed soon. But I still got chances. So anyway, and it's okay. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be imperfect. It's okay to mess things up. Because redeeming those screw-ups leads to a more beautiful situation than the situation before you screwed up. When we do something wrong and we right the wrong, the result is a more beautiful world than what existed before. So don't be afraid. Like Ryan was saying, it's okay. And if you screw up, sometimes we need to apologize. And it can be painful, absolutely. But through that pain comes beauty. Like childbirth. I've watched my wife go through it twice. Painful moments for everyone in the room. Probably especially the child.
Imagine being the uncle.
Good they don't remember it. What's that?
So imagine being the uncle.
Imagine being the uncle.
I've been there.
Yeah. But man, the beauty that comes from that pain, outstanding. So you're creating for yourself a wonderful, beautiful life. And that's about all I got. Ryan, did you have anything else?
No, just yeah. If you're doubting yourself, the thing is like it will hold you back. But the problem, like if you do it and you mess up, that's not a big deal. So don't hold don't hold yourself back for something that's not a big deal. It's okay to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
It's like things happen. That's all right. If you want to be the best version of yourself, right? Then you can't just hold yourself back. If you want to be the best version of yourself and you're worried about how good of a job you did, right? All you're doing is you should be moving on to the next thing, basically, you know, because you can't get perfection. All you can do is do your best. But if you stop doing your best to look at your failure, you've stopped doing your best. You're no longer heading in the right direction. So don't stop doing your best to look at your failure when you failed. Continue to be your best. And that's how you know you don't have any reason to doubt yourself. So that's, I don't know, that if that makes sense. I don't know. It was kind of weird to say it that way, but I hope it made sense. But that's what I got.
Mhm.
I know that we're running over time, so that's all right.
Hey. Oh, well.
Oh, well.
Yep. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for the topic, Meow. And yes, if you have something to submit to one of us, if you have a song, we have a place at bss.studio. There is a place for fan originals to post stuff there. Also, I mean, you can definitely, if email works for you and you can attach it to an email or attach a link to it or something, you can feel free to send it to the DWW at bss.studio. That would be fine. And we will get it either way. So I know Princess gave you our Discord contact. Those are, if you don't have Discord, obviously, then that's going to be tough to reach us on Discord if you're not there. But yes, I'd love to hear what you got. You know, love to hear. Oh, couldn't figure out how to play other people's songs. Do you have to be a member in order to? I think. Well, but you do got to download them, so they're there.
Do you have to download them to play them? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you can just stream them from the website. I think they're there, and you have to download them, and then you can listen to them. I've listened to lots of wonderful,
unless they put it on
music.
SoundCloud.
Yeah,
it's on Sound. If they did a SoundCloud link, then you can stream it.
You're right.
And some people did that.
Yep. So that's another thing you can do as well if you want to upload it to SoundCloud. Do a link. There's lots of different ways.
I hope you figure it out, Mo.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I'd love to listen to it. I've listened to lots of different music. Star says there are some files I can't even access. Do you know why that might be? Some files. Are there some files restricted to certain levels of membership?
I think
Maybe.
there are, but it's only in the download section.
Okay.
The ones that are, because you can pay $5 and get all of the Static P, and you have your stuff on there, right, Joe? No.
No. We need to put that up there. We got two.
You need to put your stuff on
two
there.
or three.
Anyways,
I know.
You can get everything that you can get all of the BSS stuff for $5. You can pay $5 a month if you want, just to stay updated, and get everything that's released. Or you can just pay $5 once and get everything.
Just
it's a pretty good deal.
Not found.
Honestly.
Star. If you want to get in and submit a ticket, actually, I know I used to say this all the time when Jesse was producing the show because it would bug him. Submit a support ticket.
Yeah, but really do.
Yep, actually, yes, really do. If you're having trouble loading some stuff and it's something, if there's some kind of glitch, then we definitely want to know about it so we can address it.
Yeah.
So yes, but yeah, the proper channel to do that would be on the website to the support a ticket, and I think there's a category that says Joe.
Yeah, there is. You can submit a Joe ticket if you want.
Submit a Joe ticket.
But I don't think that's what you want to do.
But I'm not the one that can fix that kind of an issue.
Yeah, Joe is in IT, so that's more of like a complaint ticket about Joe.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. It's a specific ticket that's categorized as Joe because Joe used to send pointless tickets to Jesse all the time for fun. And so now it gets labeled as Joe. So that he doesn't have to put up with it.
That was so fun.
It was great.
Poor Jesse. He doesn't have time for that nonsense anymore.
Yeah.
but it was fun while it lasted. Okay, I'm a teenager, don't have a credit card, so couldn't pay for the membership. That's all right.
Yeah,
you can also, if you want to listen to stuff, you can listen to it on Spotify. You can find it all on YouTube. All the stuff. If you want to listen to it, you can listen to all of the music on YouTube or Spotify for free.
I would recommend Spotify. It gives more of it gets a better return to us if you want us to make more money. But if you don't, whatever is easier for you, we don't care.
Right.
Spotify, iTunes, of course that requires money, but regardless, Amazon, Google Play, YouTube, etc.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, and that's fine. And you can get a lot, you know, having a paid membership on the website. There's, I think the only benefit to that is you just get to download. You can download the music.
Yeah.
All of it.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But
That's it.
okay, we'll be getting our stuff on SoundCloud too. And Meow, if you use SoundCloud, that's a great place to put your music and send us a link to it.
Mm-hmm. Once you write it.
Once you write it and record it and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely. So anyway, wow, thank you guys so much for such an awesome show. You guys are amazing. We love you guys. And wow, what a wonderful time. So yeah. Oh, Star. It's
There are
not
a lot of songs on there that are free, by the way.
There are a lot of songs you can still download, even without a paid membership. But
Yeah. Actually more than half of the stuff that's on there is technically free. The only stuff that isn't is the stuff with full lyrics right now.
Right.
Static P and some of Joe's stuff.
Yep. All the instrumentals are free.
All the instrumentals are free, so you can do karaoke with it and whatever you want, play in the background.
Yep.
And then there's some other songs in there that are included for free.
Yeah. So anyway.
I recommend Salmon Vanilla.
Yeah, Salmon Vanilla is a great one. It's a hit. It only takes like 20 seconds of your day, but it's fantastic.
Man,
real bop.
it's gonna take more than 20 seconds because you're gonna listen to it at least 6 times. So it's gonna take
That's
at least
right.
a minute and 40.
Yeah.
Or 2 minutes or
Great.
whatever.
Salmon
All right.
Vanilla. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. We love you guys. We'll see you next week on right here on Don't Worry Wednesday.
Right here on Don't Worry Wednesday. That's right.
Yep. Come on back. I will have a new show scheduled, so it will be, yes, we'll be here. So
Cool.
love you guys.
Love
See
you
you
guys.
next week.
Peace.